Thank you for joining me again. This episode will be replete with badly mispronounced names. I apologize for that. But I wanted to get into a topic that I'm hopefully done with. Again, I have read a lot of depressing things that I don't know that they necessarily move the conversation forward. And this one kind of goes along that line, and it's about religious history. So I got a hold of Imam Mohammad Tawhidi's book, The Tragedy of Islam, Confessions of a Muslim Imam. And it is a very readable, pretty short volume that covers a lot of ground. Most importantly, the early caliphates. So that was an area of interest for me. And it also covers a similar path that another book that I read a long time ago covered, which is Absolute Monarchs, A History of the Papacy, which was also published originally as The Pope's A History. So Imam Tawhidi was born in Iran to a family of Muslim scholars, immigrated to Australia when he was 12, and you know, it's the only awareness that I have about him is this book and a few YouTube videos, which I will try to put in the notes. And he is a reformer, which I don't think that there are many people out there outside of fundamentalist Muslim movements that would argue that Islam does not need a reform in the same way that Christianity got a reform. The criticisms of all religions are valid, but from my perspective, and I did spend some time in Saudi Arabia a long time ago, but from my perspective, Christianity has a long tradition of turning the other cheek, especially when you consider the blood that's on the hands of Christians from the Inquisition and other periods in history. But it does seem like, in my opinion, people are very hesitant to criticize Islam, to criticize Muhammad, in a way that they're not inhibited to criticize other religions. Part of that is for the same reason that you don't see PETA throwing blood on bikers with their leather jackets, and that's because those bikers are more likely to confront them than the wealthy old ladies in their fur coats. Anyway, I found it to be a very readable book, very enjoyable, lots of good information, information dense, which is a term that I like to use. The history of the papacy book, Absolute Monarchs, was a little bit more geared towards academics, whereas this is definitely geared towards the average reader, and there's nobody more average than me. So I wanted to mention that. I had read A History of Iran before, which Qom, the city of Qom, which I'm sure I'm also mispronouncing, is mentioned a lot, and that was Iran, Empire of the Mind. I'll give you a little information about that as well on the bottom of the screen. And that one, frankly, I didn't get a lot out of it. It was a hard read. It didn't move me. It wasn't particularly engaging in the way that I wanted to be engaged. And Imam Tawhidi seems very willing to criticize Islam, which I think is healthy. I don't think it's the same kind of criticism that Ayaan Hirsi Ali or Thomas Harris or the others put towards it, but it is valid. I mean, he remains Muslim, but able to criticize it in the same way that other religions are able to criticize their own. Anyway, I wanted to bring that up, and I wanted to just mention a little bit more about this, how he probably has paid a fairly heavy price for saying the things that he said within his own community. I'll keep an eye on it, and I hope you will too, and thank you again for spending this time with me. Please do take a look at the notes below, especially our links, and thanks for your time.